Okay guys, so two of the things I'm going to be making today, like I said, I'm going to show you guys how to make bannock in two different ways. Bannock is just something, it's a flour, it's just a bread flour basically, but it's easily packable. It only has a few small ingredients, nothing that really go bad. And I will put the recipe on here for you guys, the recipe that we use. So I'm going to make some bannock to go with my soup. And I'm also going to make some sweet bannock for dessert. So actually the first thing I'm going to do, just to get everything ready here, I'm going to get my soup ready. So I dehydrated all these veggies myself. I have a dehydrator at home. It's got potatoes, meat, mushroom. It's got some jalapenos, corn, peas, beans. But since it's been dehydrated, I also add a few spices to it when I'm mixing it up. And then all it needs, I put a little bit of beef oxo in it, an oxo cube of beef oxo cube. But basically all I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to add some water, and I'm just going to let it, they call it reconstituting. So what it does is it just, it rehydrates the vegetables in there. So about that much, no, just not a whole lot. So I'm just going to let that sit for a little bit while we're making up our bannock. And then we'll put it on the fire and let that boil up. And then we can eat that up too. As we can see, our Canadian candle's going really good right now. It's now I can leave it alone. I don't, for first little bit I had to sit there and blow on the coals a little bit, everything like that. But now it's able to just be left. I still have to keep an eye on it, keeping in mind our fire safety. But so here's my bannock mix. Bearing in mind it does rise quite a bit, and I have a big thing of soup and lots of coffee to drink. Now this is just the stuff I normally keep in my pack, guys. I keep a few bags of my dehydrated vegetables and soup mix. I keep some bannock in there. One of the main things when you're making the bannock is, even if you plan on making the full batch, make sure you always leave a little bit extra in case you add too much water. So all we have to do here is add water. Just a little bit at first. We're just going to mix it up. See, now I can tell already that I've basically added too much water because it's so runny. We want it fairly thick, just past sticky kind of dough, if that makes sense. So, as I said, that's why I always make sure I keep a little bit extra, because there's really no measuring when you're cooking out here. So, add a little bit more. Worst case, if I add too much, I add some more water. It's just kind of a back and forth until you get the consistency that you want. Need a little bit more bannock mix. So there's lots of different ways to cook this. It's all, you're gonna mix it all up the same, but depending on what I'm doing, on FTXs and stuff like that, you guys will see me cooking this in this exact pan on my personal stove. I get a little tired of MREs eventually, and so I bring some alternatives. I like to show you guys some alternatives to what you can eat when you're in the field. You can put it on a stick, which is what we're going to do for our main course. And then we're going to we'll take half the dough and make that. And then we're going to use the other half of the dough and make something else. I will also make it up as I'm winter camping or canoe camping, because I don't have as much, because I'm not packing as much weight that way. I'll often bring a Dutch oven or another pot, and I will just put a little bit of oil in the bottom of that and kind of fry them like that, or I can bake them like that. It's a very filling bread, I'll tell you that much right now. So just now getting to the point here that it's not looking too bad yet. So how about I keep mixing and then we'll come back to this. Let's just finish. Actually, with some woodpeckers in the background here. There we go. Now it's getting to a better consistency, almost where we can knead it by hand. You just want it just a tad sticky. That's just about right, just a hair too sticky. But I have a little bit of dry stuff left here in the bottom of the pan. So I roll that around a little bit. Let me put a little more in. There we go. Now it's getting to a nice dough we can kind of work with our hands. I like to get a little bit of mix, a little bit of the flour on my hand too. On my hands, it just keeps it from sticking as bad. There we go. We got some bannock. We got some bannock mix now. And I'll get everything ready and then I'll show you guys how we're going to make our two different kinds today.